Hey, it's Adrian, and today I'm taking a look at these Air 3 Pro earbuds, and these are from a company called SOUNDPEATS, and they did send these to me for free for review, but I'm going to be giving you my unbiased thoughts after using them. So let's see how they do. In the package, we get the charging case, earbuds, the ear tips, Type-C charging cable, and instruction manual. In terms of the specs, so it comes with the Qualcomm aptX adaptive Bluetooth codec. Bluetooth version is 5.2. There's 12mm drivers. It's IPX4 sweat and splash resistant. There's also CVC or clear voice capture 8.0, so that's going to help with echo and noise suppression on calls, which works very well. There's up to 24 hours playtime when you pair the battery life on the earbuds, plus whatever's remaining in the charging case. There's also a game mode which reduces the latency to as low as 60 milliseconds. All right, looking at the design, so the case for the earbuds is actually quite narrow, pretty small and lightweight. So there's a Type-C charging port there, a button at the back there, and an LED light there, and that means the battery is 50 to 100% battery, and then it also indicates when it's around 40% and lower, and then 10% and lower. But taking a look at the inside, so these are labeled left and right. Let me just take these out. And now taking a closer look at these, so on the side we have the SOUNDPEATS logo, microphone I'm assuming, and then the charging contacts. And then it does say L at the side there, so these are the left ones. And there's also a microphone up there, or that's to help with the active noise cancellation, I believe. Now, it has a black type of grill. In terms of weight, so these are pretty lightweight, so they come in at around 9 grams, so 4.5 grams per earbud. And with the charging case, the total comes to 38 grams, so pretty lightweight package. In terms of the design overall, I'm a fan because I really like having the short stem instead of the long one sticking out of your ear. As well, I'm a fan of the black because it's not a glossy or shiny type of black. It does have a bit of a sheen to it, but it's, it doesn't stand out too much. The other thing that I noticed is that there's no flashing LEDs on here, which is great because, those can be a bit distracting. And even though it's a little bit of a battery drain, every little bit helps when you're talking about something this small. All right, so here's a sound test of the Air 3 Pros. In terms of the sound quality, you're not going to be disappointed with these. So the sound clarity is great. It's clean, it's crisp. And if you're a fan of bass like me, in bass heavy parts of songs, as long as you have these fitted well, you're using the right earbuds, and they're snug in there, you'll hear thumping through the earbuds on bass heavy parts of the song. So that's a great plus for me. So listening to these at 100% volume, I didn't notice any crackling or distortion, and they were pretty loud, but they weren't loud to the point where I felt that, I have to take these out or I got to reduce the volume right away. So they are loud, but definitely not the loudest I've heard. But it is loud enough to, drown out whatever type of background noise you have, especially when you turn ANC on. But my sweet spot has been around 90 to 95%, and it still sounds plenty loud, and I can't really hear anything going on in the background. In terms of call quality, so I've used these on a number of calls, and it was easy for me to hear the other party and for them to hear me, so there's no issues there. In terms of overall latency, one of the things I always look for is to see if there's any type of lip sync issues when the audio is playing, because that could be pretty distracting. And with these, I didn't find any type of lip sync issues, but here's just a demo.
Hey, it's Adrian, welcome to my channel. If you're a fan of tech like me, you're interested in phones, computers, gamings, even your occasional, watch or how-to video.
So if you paid attention to when my lips were moving and the sound audio, everything was matching up really nicely, and I didn't have game mode turned on during this test. In terms of range between my phone and the earbuds, I was actually able to get around 51 feet or 15.5 meters. And that's with, a clear line of sight, no obstructions, no walls or anything like that. If you're someone who likes to just listen to one earbud at a time, that way you could just save the battery on the other one, that's no problem. It lets you do that. So you could just pop the other one in here, close it, and that one will play all of the audio. When the battery is drained, you can just swap them, and that works really well. In terms of active noise cancellation, they work really well on these. So whenever I listen to these at 90-95% volume or anywhere around there, I actually find that I don't need to turn on active noise cancellation because the fit and seal is so well on these that I rarely hear a lot of background noise. So to actually test active noise cancellation, I had to turn these down to a listening volume far lower than what I would normally listen to. And then when I could hear the background noise because of the low volume, I turned on ANC and it did reduce the background noise or ambient noise. I could still hear a little bit of it, but it was really reduced. And if I just cranked this up by another, say 10-20% in volume, then I would have no issues. But I would say if you're listening to these at a higher volume, say 80% to 100, you may not even need active noise cancellation. So in addition to active noise cancellation, you also have a normal mode and you have a transparency mode. And transparency mode is meant so that you can keep the earphones in and just talk to someone or hear everything going on in the background. And I did not find that transparency mode did much to help me at all. And between transparency mode and normal mode, I actually found normal mode to be easier to hear what was going on in the background in transparency mode. So I would not use transparency mode unless that's addressed in a future software update through the SOUNDPEATS app. Okay, here's a quick demo of me playing Temple Run. So the earbuds are set to game mode, which is supposed to reduce latency by as much as 60 milliseconds, but here's what that sounds like when I play. So I'd say the sound works pretty well in game mode, and even without game mode, the latency is pretty good enough on these that I don't even find myself needing to change it to that mode. In terms of the controls, they're really easy to use on these, and these have my preferred way of adjusting volume. So if I do a single tap, you can see that it reduces volume, and if I do a single tap, it increases the volume. And I really prefer it that way because I'm mostly changing volume, I'm not really changing tracks. Now, one thing that I do want to mention with these is you have to tap it each time to either move the volume up or down. If you press and hold it down, then it's another function. To access the other controls, so on the left earbud, you can press and hold down for 1.5 seconds to cycle through normal mode, transparency mode, or active noise cancellation. And you can triple tap on it to activate or deactivate game mode. On the right earbud, you can triple tap to advanced tracks, but there are no controls on either of these to go back to the previous track. If you do use the voice assistant on your phone, what you can do is just triple tap on the right earbud and that'll pull up the voice assistant. To pause and stop music, that would just be a double tap on either of the earbuds, and you can also do a double tap to accept calls. In terms of comfort, these are actually surprisingly comfort, even though the back of hair looks kind of large. When they are in the ear and you have them paired with the right ear gels, it really does fit nicely in there, and even if I'm moving my head side to side, up and down, it doesn't feel like it's gonna pop out. In terms of the battery life, I was able to get around 5 hours, and that's with a combination of both having normal mode and active noise cancellation. I didn't use the transparency mode. And overall, in terms of battery life, you can expect, I would say, between 20 to 24 hours, when you combine whatever you have in the earbuds and then the charge in the carrying case every time you charge those up as well. In terms of an associated app, so there is a SOUNDPEATS app, and even though I do see the SOUNDPEATS Air3 Pro in there, and it does look like these are recognized, SOUNDPEATS did say that these are not fully supported and updates will be coming in the future. Now, I do see there's an option down here, and if I click that, I see there's options for volume control, adaptive equalizer. There's also some preset equalizers. You can change the modes here. There's a game mode. These don't work right now, and I'm assuming that's going to be fixed when there's a update. But there's one thing missing here that I would really like to see, and that would be the option to remap controls. While these are great earbuds, there are a couple of deal breakers, and a pretty major one is that you can see right now I have it connected to my phone here. However, if I turn on Bluetooth on my other phone and I try to connect it, it's going to fail connecting because it can only be connected to one phone at a time. Now, that could be a pretty big deal breaker for those of you who like to have it, connected to both your phone or your laptop, and then you like to switch in between. So you can see it couldn't connect. Now, if I turn off Bluetooth on my other phone and I try to connect back, You can see it's connected now. So I have to manually disconnect from the first phone before I'm able to connect to the other phone. So that's kind of a deal breaker if you're someone who likes to have it connected to more than 2 devices. There is also no wireless charging for these, but at this price, I wouldn't expect it anyway. So can I recommend the SOUNDPEATS Air3 Pros? And I would say if we're just looking at sound, these definitely deliver there. The sound is really crisp, great clarity at max volume. I didn't notice any type of distortion, crackling, and overall it just sounded great. Bass as well is really good on these, especially once you have them fitted well. I am a fan of bass, and these definitely delivered. You know, I had that thump in my ear when I was listening to certain types of tracks. Active noise cancellation also works well on these, even though I found myself not needing to use it much, because once I had that great fit and I listened to it, you know, say 80 to 90, 95% volume, it pretty much drowned out or killed out whatever type of background noise that I had. But if I did crank the volume, you know, really low so I could hear my background, then turn on active noise cancellation, it definitely did make a difference there. However, the main deal breaker I would say with these is if you're someone who frequently switches between devices, so between your phone or your laptop, and you like to be able to do that on the fly, these may not be for you, because they do require you to first disconnect manually from the first device before you can connect to the second device. And that's considering that they're already both, you know, paired, but it doesn't let you just fast switch from both devices. So keep that in mind. In terms of price, so these are normally $59 US, but SOUNDPEATS did tell me that for Amazon Prime Day, they're going to offer $20 off, which will bring it down to $39 US. And at $39 US, these are a pretty good value for the quality of sound coming out of these, and the fact that you're going to be getting, you know, Bluetooth 5.2 and active noise cancellation. It actually works pretty well. So if you're interested in picking these up, I'll leave a link down in the description below, and you can check them out yourself.